when two or more organ systems they interact in such a manner so that to perform a particular function. Sympathetic and parasympathetic, we know it. So which are both of them are antagonistic to size or gap is very less, and that's why there is only electrical. But when the gap is a little bit more, we call it electrochemical. Only electrical or electrochemical कौन सा faster होगा? Definitely electrical is going to be much more faster. Important for NEET. Hello future doctors. আমি তোমাদের উজ্জ্বল স্যার। আজকে আমরা NCERT line by line পড়বো। So we are going to study NCERT line by line on the topic neural control and coordination. আমরা neural control and coordination class 11 এর last topic, আমরা not second last topic, আমরা পড়বো line by line. Fine, which is going to help you in your upcoming NEET examinations. Fine. So let us start with the topic called NCERT line by line on neural control and coordination. So why NCERT? এটা নিয়ে বলার কিছু নেই. Fine. All of us we know that this is the NCERT, which is the Gita, Quran, whatever. It's for NEET aspirants. It's everything. So let us start with the topic called neural control and coordination from NCERT. As you know, the functions of the organ system in our body must be coordinated to maintain homeostasis. What is homeostasis? আমরা জানি what is homeostasis. Homeostasis means what? Homeostasis means two things. Maintenance of what? First, the osmotic balance in the body. Body মধ্যে osmotic concentration টা balance করা. And number two, body মধ্যে thermal regulation টা also control করা. এটাকে together we call it as homeostasis. Now think about it. As we know, the functions of organ and organ systems in our body must be coordinated to maintain homeostasis. Coordination কাকে বলা হয়? Coordination is the process through which two or more organs interact and complement the functions of one another. একটা থেকে বেশি অর্গান যখন এদের মধ্যে কন্ট্রাক্ট করে, এদের মধ্যে ইন্টারঅ্যাক্ট করে for a particular function, তার আমরা কি বলি? Coordination. So what is coordination? Normally what we know about coordination is when two or more organ systems they interact in such a manner so that to perform a particular function. Say for example, আমরা example কি দিয়েছিলাম? আমরা example দিয়েছিলাম আগের ভিডিওতে, যদি দেখে নাও তুমি। What was the example that we gave it to you is what in a cricket match or example ছিল the batsman makes a sixer হলো না, বলটা ল্যান্ড করলো নিচে ফিল্ডারের কাছে, বলটা অতদূর যায়নি, sixer হলো না. So the person who was the fielder who was catching that particular ball, সেই particular মানুষের organ system এর কোন organ system activate হবে? First is nervous system, because by the help of eyes is going to see the particular ball descending down at that speed. Number one. Number two, কোন organ system কাজ করবে? Which organ system is going to work again? Along with nervous system, the endocrine system is also going to work. So these two are coordinated. And there will be tension because you are not being able to miss the particular ball. So ballটা ক্যাচ করতে হবে, তার জন্য endocrine system, nervous system টার সাথে কাজ করবে. So these two are together, it's called coordination. For example, when we do physical exercises, the energy demand is increased by maintaining an increased muscular activity. Physical exercise সময় energy demand টা increase হয়ে যায় by what? By physical activity, তাই না? Say for example, যখন আমরা হাততালি দিই, the moment we have to clap, হাতের এই দুপাশে কি আছে? What are there in this part of the body? The nerve endings. The moment I'm going to clap, what is going to happen? See, with this strike, the nerves are going to get activated. Now this is what coordination is going to occur. All the nerves are going to get activated. প্রত্যেকটা nerve body activated হয়ে যাবে. So that is very important. That's called coordination. The increased supply of oxygen necessitates an increase in the rate of respiration. তাই না? যে সাপ্লাইটা, অক্সিজেনের সাপ্লাইটা ডিমান্ডটা কি হবে? Rate of respiration is going to increase. So when a person is going to do any physical exercise, physical workout, what is going to happen? The demand by the muscles for oxygen is going to increase. তাহলে blood flow is going to move to that part of the body. Fine. যখন আমরা পড়াশোনা করি, what happens when you start studying? Your 65% of the blood of the body reaches where? Towards your brain. So fine. But when you are running, if a mad dog is after you, so when a mad dog is after you, so you say for example you have broken the records of Usain Bolt in running, and then what is going to happen to your muscles, to your leg muscles, to your thigh muscles? The blood flow is going to increase. তাহলে এক্সারসাইজ করলে কোঅর্ডিনেশনটা বাড়বে and the rate of respiration is going to increase. So কি হবে? So think about rate of respiration is going to increase again over here. Name the part of the nervous system which helps in increasing the rate of respiration. What is that? Respiratory center of the body? It is medulla oblongata. So this part of the brain is also going to work. Coordinate হয়ে গেল না? So this is called coordination. Heartbeat is going to increase and increase blood flow via blood vessels. Even blood vessels, for the increased blood flow, blood vessels needs to dilate. এটা dilate করবে. So this is called coordination. When physical exercise is stopped, the activities of nerves, lungs, heart and kidney gradually return to their normal conditions. So when you stop the physical activity, this is going to get lowered. All the activities of these organs are going to get lowered. Thus the functions of muscles, lungs, heart, blood, vessels, kidney and other organs are coordinated while performing physical exercises. All the organs are going to get coordinated. Think about it. My dear students, just think about that time when you started learning how to ride the bicycle. যখন প্রথম সাইকেলটা তুই চালাতে স্টার্ট করেছিস তখন তুই তোর ব্রেক কখন দিতে হবে, তোর কনসেন্ট্রেশন ব্রেকের দিকে গেলে হ্যান্ডেল বেঁকে যেত, তাই তখন প্যাডলিং করা তুই ভুলে যেতি, কারণ কি তোর ব্রেন একটা জায়গায় ব্রেক মারার জন্য চিন্তা করছিস তখন তোর হ্যান্ডেলটা ঘুরে যেত। সো থিঙ্ক অ্যাবাউট ইট। আজকের দিনে যখন তুই সাইকেল চালাচ্ছিস ইউ আর নট গোয়িং টু থিঙ্ক অ্যাবাউট ওয়েন টু পুট দ্য ব্রেক অন, ইটস গোইং টু অটোমেটিকলি ওয়ার্ক। Coordination, hand-eye coordination. The moment you see somebody suddenly came into your way, চিন্তা করতে হয় না আমাকে ব্রেক মারতে হবে, চিন্তা করতে হবে না আমাকে বেল মারতে হবে। This is what's called coordination. You are never going to think about the fact that now I have to put the brake. You're never going to think about it. It's coordinated. So this is called coordination. Clear? In our body, the neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinates and integrates all the activities of the organs so that they function in a synchronized fashion. So this is called coordination in a synchronized fashion. That ki likhe kya likh diya yahan pe? Neural system and endocrine system jointly. So neural system and endocrine system works together. We call it they work in unison. They work in unison. Clear? The neural system provides an organized network of point-to-point connections for a quick coordination. The endocrine system provides chemical integration through hormones. So endocrine system provides chemical integration through hormones. In this chapter, you will learn about the neural system to human. बाबू इन्होंने कुछ पूछा नहीं, I think आपको समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. So endocrine system provides chemical integration. Okay, that's why it's called about endocrine system. What is that chemical? The chemical is about all hormones, neurotransmitters. Okay, they can be dopamine, acetylcholine, and क्या है यहाँ पे? In this chapter, you will learn about the neural system of the human, mechanism of neural coordination, like transmissions of nerve impulse conduction across a synapse. Let's come to the next page, and that is about neural system. The neural system of all animals is composed of highly specialized cells called neurons. So what is the unit of nervous system? It's neuron. Okay. Now, ये लिखा है यहाँ पे, which can detect. What is the function of neuron? Neuron is a function key. It can detect, receive, and transmit different kinds of stimuli. So neurons, it can detect, receive, and transmit different kinds of stimuli. The neural organization is very simple in lower invertebrates. It's very simple. It's not complex like in higher vertebrates. So in lower invertebrates, the neural system is very, very simple. For example, in Hydra, it is composed of a network of neurons. Hydra dekhi ache, a network of neurons. The neural system is better organized in insects, where a brain is present along with a number of ganglion and the neural tissues. So what do we know in arthropod and in mollusca? They have got ganglions. Mollusca about the snail. When we talk about snail, they have got what? They have got ganglions. Fine. They have got esophageal ganglion. They have got pedal ganglion. Payer moddhe ganglion ache. In the muscular foot, they have got ganglion in case of snail. So what are ganglions? They are the connection. They are the union of all neurons together. They make what? They make ganglions, and there are two types of ganglions. Just to let me tell you, two same type of ganglion are connected by two same types of ganglion. So these are two same type of ganglion. They are connected by commissure. They are connected by commissure. Two different types of ganglion. So this is one type of ganglion. This is another type of ganglion. Two different types of ganglia are connected by connective. A piece of information to you. The neural system is better organized in insects where a brain is present along with number of ganglia and neural tissues. The vertebrates have a more developed, see, the vertebrates, higher vertebrates, they have got a more complex neural system and much more developed, advanced, what? Neural system. Human neural system, let's get into that. Two types, kya kya hai? Central neural system, CNS, and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system include the brain and spinal cord. And the site of information processing and control. The PNS comprises of all the nerves of the body associated with the CNS, brain and spinal cord. So brain and spinal cord के साथ जो neurons लगे हुए हैं, all comes under peripheral. Peripheral माने कि बाहर दिखे. And central means the central part, that is brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord. The nerve fibers of the peripheral nervous system are two types: afferent and efferent. Afferent and efferent. Peripheral nervous system में क्या है? Afferent and efferent. What is afferent? It is called, afferent is called sensory. Efferent is what? Motor. Efferent is motor. The afferent nerve fibers transmit impulses from tissues, organs to the CNS, and the efferent fibers transmit regulatory impulses from the central nervous system to the concerned peripheral tissues. Okay. So you know what? Afferent ये लेके जाता है towards the central nervous system. Efferent, it brings the information from the brain or spinal cord to the effector muscles. Okay. The PNS is divided into two divisions called somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic means what? Voluntary. Autonomic मतलब क्या? Involuntary. Okay. The somatic nervous system relays impulses from the central nervous system to the skeletal muscles because ये voluntary है. While the autonomic nervous system transmits impulses from the central nervous system to the involuntary organs, and that is why this autonomic nervous system is also called as visceral. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Visceral, because उधर जाए in the visceral organs. Clear? Which is voluntary or involuntary? Involuntary. Okay. Involuntary organs and smooth muscles of the body. The autonomic nervous system is further classified sympathetic and parasympathetic. So autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, we know it. So which are both of them are antagonistic to themselves, like to each other. So they are antagonistic to each other, opposite functions. Visceral nervous system is the part of the peripheral nervous system that comprises the whole complex of nerve fibers, ganglia, and plexus, by which the impulses travel from central nervous system to the visceral nervous system and visceral to the central nervous system. It is called visceral nervous system. Clear? Come down to the next one. Neuron as structure and function unit of life. Function unit of neural system. We know that a neuron is microscopic by structure composed of three major parts named cell body, dendrites, and axon. Cell body, dendrites, and axon. The cell body contains cytoplasm, which typical cell organelles and certain granular bodies. What is the granular body called? Nissl granules. Nissl granules is very important inside the cell body. Short fibers which branch immediately and build out of the cell body also contains Nissl granules and are called dendrites. These fibers transmit impulses towards the cell body. The axon is a long fiber. What is axon? It's a long fiber. Okay, axon is a long fiber. The distal end of which is branched. Each branch is distal end. नीचे वाला is a branch. Each branch terminates as a bulb-like structure called synaptic knob, which possesses sandy vesicles containing chemicals called neurotransmitter. And we know that neurotransmitters are of two types. One is excitatory, and another one is inhibitory. Excitatory, मतलब क्या है? Excitatory means dopamine, acetylcholine, serotonin. And what is inhibitory is GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. Gamma aminobutyric acid is the inhibitory one. Okay. The axons transmits the impulse away from the cell body to a synapse or to a neuromuscular junctions. So what it receives, axon transmits the impulse away from the cell body. So cell body से लेकर कहाँ में देगा axon? To the next neuron and to the neuromuscular junctions. Say for example, this neuron is connected with the muscles. So this end will be called as neuromuscular junctions. Okay, based on the number of axon and dendrites. The neurons are divided into three types: multipolar with one axon and two or more dendrites. Active axon type with dendrites are found in the cerebral cortex. Bipolar with one axon and one dendrite. Bipolar means active axon type, active dendrite type, which is present inside eyes, retina. And the last one is unipolar, cell body with one axon only, found usually in the embryonic stage. There are two types of axons, namely myelinated and non-myelinated. So on the basis of different types of axon and dendrite, there are three: monopolar, bipolar, and It is unipolar, bipolar, and multipolar, and myelinated, non-myelinated on the basis of the presence of myelin sheath. And we know the myelinated nerve fibers are enveloped with what? Schwann cells, which form myelin sheath. And what is that? Ingredient of the myelin sheath. The ingredient is, it is made up of a conjugate lipid called sphingomyelin. Sphingomyelin, it's a conjugate lipid. Okay. The gap between two adjacent is called nodes of Ranvier, myelinated nerve fibers. These gaps are what? These gaps are nodes of Ranvier. Okay. And myelinated nerve fibers are found in spinal and cranial nerves. Unmyelinated, non-myelinated nerve fibers is enclosed by a. This is very important for NEET examination, mind you. See, myelinated nerve fibers are found in spinal and cranial nerves, whereas non-myelinated nerves are enclosed by a Schwann cell that does not form a myelin sheath around the axon, and is commonly found in autonomous and somatic neural system. This is very important. This piece of information is very, very important. Okay, come down to the next one called generation of impulse, generation and conduction of impulse. Neurons are excitable cells because their membranes are in a polarized state. We have talked about this. What is called polarized state? In a polarized condition, this is the axon. Under the axon here, axon contains potassium ion inside and sodium ion outside, and that maintains a positivity outside and negativity inside, and positivity outside. This is a polarized condition. This is the polarized state. Did you know that the membrane of the neuron is polarized? Different types of ion channels are present on the neural membrane. These ions are selectively permeable. What is the meaning of selectively permeable? A membrane axolema is selectively permeable. It is not going to allow every other material to pass through. When a neuron is not conducting, যখন নিউরনটা conduct করছে না, when the neuron is not conducting, তার মানে threshold stimulus পায়নি axon cell bodyটা or cytonটা, any impulse that is resting, the axonal membrane is comparatively more permeable to potassium ion. So normally, this is more permeable to potassium ion. It is more permeable to potassium ion. Potassium ion is free to move out, but sodium ion will ঢুকতে পারে না. Okay, and nearly impermeable to sodium ion. See, membrane টা impermeable থাকে, sodium ion ঢুকতে পারবে না in resting condition. তার মানে যখন নিউরনটা কাজ করছে না, when the neuron is not working. Clear? जब न्यूरॉन काम नहीं करेगा तब ये सोडियम आयन बाहर से अंदर नहीं जाएगा, impermeable रहता है. Similarly, the membrane is impermeable to negatively charged proteins, and this membrane is also impermeable to negatively charged proteins present in the exoplasm. Consequently, the exoplasm inside the axon contains high concentration of potassium. See, potassium अंदर ज़्यादा है, and negatively charged proteins, and low concentration of sodium. In contrast, the fluid outside, this is called extracellular fluid. The axon contains a low concentration of potassium. এখানে বাইরে কি থাকে? बाहर में potassium कम रहता है. A high concentration of sodium ion is present outside, and thus form a concentration gradient. These ionic gradients across the resting membrane potential are maintained by the active transport of ions by the sodium-potassium pump. Remember, we have talked about sodium-potassium pump দিয়ে কি করে? By the process of active transport, it pushes 3 sodium outside and 2 potassium inside to maintain the resting potential. As a result, the outer surface of the axonal membrane possesses a positive charge while its inner surface becomes negatively charged and therefore is polarized. The electrical potential difference across the resting plasma membrane is called as the resting potential. So this potential, which is maintained normally, is minus 70 millivolt, and that is called resting potential. You might be curious to know about the mechanisms of generations of nerve impulse and conduction axon along an axon. When a stimulus is applied at a site, जब एक stimulus is applied on a site, on the polarized membrane, that is on point A. What is going to happen? Say, let's show you. This is point A. This is point A. This is point A. So threshold stimulus is being applied on point A. And what is going to happen? See, this is threshold stimulus. This is point A is applied. What is going to happen? Sodium ion starts getting inside. And this will take place only in the local site. देखो अंदर कौन आ गया? पॉजिटिव आ गया अंदर. बाहर पॉजिटिव था, अंदर आ गया. But the rest will remain the same. The rest part of the axon will remain the same. See, that is what's happening. Okay, and then what is going to happen? Point of the polarized membrane at site A becomes freely permeable to sodium. This leads to a rapid influx of sodium. So the moment there is a threshold stimulus, sodium ions entry occurs for the reversal of the polarity of this type. So बाहर जाएगा, negative हो जाएगा. The outer surface of the membrane becomes negatively charged. In that, and inner side becomes positively charged, and inner side becomes positively charged. তাহলে কি হলো, ভেতরে কি চলে আসলো, ভেতরে সোডিয়াম চলে আসলো, अंदर अंदर आ गया सोडियम, अंदर सोडियम आ गया तो अंदर क्या होगा, पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा, बाहर क्या जाएगा, नेगेटिव. So बाहर अभी कौन ज्यादा है, पोटेशियम आयन, अंदर कौन ज्यादा है, सोडियम. So this is called depolarized state. This is called the polarity of the membrane at side A is thus reversed and thus depolarized. The electrical potential difference across the plasma membrane at the site A is called as the action potential. तो लेकिन क्यों लो, action start हो गया, गैल्वेनोमीटर में इसको रीड करोगे तो क्या दिखाएगा, +30 millivolt, +30 millivolt, which is called as action potential. So from -70 millivolt, now it has come down to +30 millivolt, which is called as the action potential. And -30 क्या है? What is -70 millivolt? That is called resting potential. Okay. Okay, and at sites immediately ahead, the axon, side B, membrane has a positive charge at the outer surface and negative charge on its inner surface. As a result, a current flows on the inner surface from side A to side B. On the outer surface, current flows from side B to side A. To complete the circuit of current flow, hence the polarity at the side C, side A is reversed and the action potential is generated at side B. Thus the impulse action potential generated at side A arrives to side B. Aste aste ki korbe, this particular flow, this particular electrical impulse is going to start moving to the, from A to B, it's going to start moving like this, and this is called wave action theory. This is called wave action theory. Okay. Thus the impulse generated at side A arrives at side B. The sequence is repeated along the length of the axon, and consequently the impulse is conducted. The rise in the stimulus-induced permeability to sodium ion is extremely short-lived. So the stimulus-induced permeability to sodium is extremely short-lived. But what is going to happen? Potassium entry is going to take place. Potassium entry is going to take place for some time because it is just very slow. Permeability by the rise in permeability to sodium. With the potassium, with a fraction of second, potassium divisions outside the membrane and restores the resting potential of the membrane at the site of excitation, and the fiber becomes once more responsive to further stimulation. And this repolarization, 3 sodium is pushed out and 2 potassium is pushed in, maintaining what? The earlier conditions of resting potential. Transmission of impulses. Now we have come on to transmission of impulses. So what is the meaning of this? A nerve impulse is transmitted from one neuron to another through junctions called synapse. So what is synapse? Is the junctional gap between 2 neurons. Synapse is the, say for the example, this is one of the neuron, this is one of the cyton, and this is the axon. This gap is called synaptic cleft, and this gap basically is called synapse. So this synapse, what kind of synapse is this? Synapse is normally 3 types. What is axodendritic? Axodendritic. This is axodendritic between axon and dendrite. Then axosomatic, axodendritic, axosomatic, and axonic. There are 3 different types of synapse. A synapse is formed by the membranes of presynaptic neuron and a postsynaptic neuron. यहाँ पे presynaptic neuron का कौन था? यहाँ पे ये presynaptic and postsynaptic is this one. Okay, which may be separated by a gap called synaptic cleft. So what is the gap? The gap is called synaptic cleft. There are 2 types of synapses, namely electrical impulses and the chemical impulses. And electrical synapses, the membranes, pre and postsynaptic membranes are in very close proximity. So when there is an electrical synapse, the gap between the 2 synapses are very, very less. Synaptic cleft size or gap is very less, and that's why there is only electrical. But when the gap is a little bit more, we call it electrochemical. Then electrical current can flow directly from one neuron to the other across the synapses. Transmissions of an impulse across electrical synapses is very similar to impulse conducting along a single axon. Impulse transmission across an electrical impulse is always faster than that of a chemical synapse. So कौन सा ज़्यादा faster होगा बाबा? Only electrical or electrochemical? कौन सा faster होगा? Definitely electrical is going to be much more faster. Important for NEET. Okay, electrical synapses are rare in our system. See, electrical synapses are rare in our system. At a chemical synapse, the membranes of the pre and post synaptic neurons are separated by a fluid filled space called synaptic cleft. What is a cleft? Fluid filled. So this gap is called synaptic cleft. Fine. Now, what has been given then? Do you know how the presynaptic membrane transmission impulse? Fine. Chemicals called neurotransmitters involved in the transmission of impulses of these impulses. Of the synapses, the axon terminals contain vesicles filled with the neuron transmitter. We know that these vesicles are called synaptic vesicles and it contains neurotransmitter. Fine. As an example, it stimulates the movement of the synaptic vesicles towards the membrane where they fuse with the plasma membrane. See, this is the diffusion. They are modified Golgi body and ultimately they are going to diffuse out between the gap. So this is the gap called. This is pre-synaptic membrane. This is pre-synaptic and this is the post-synaptic. See, this is a pre-synaptic membrane. You have to practice this diagram. This is a pre-synaptic membrane and this is the post-synaptic membrane. Pre-synaptic membrane is, you see, they are going to fuse the neurotransmitters. Say for example, this is the acetylcholine, and this gap is called synaptic cleft, and this is the post-synaptic membrane which contains some receptors. ये receptor को क्या करना है? Open होना है so that the chemical gets inside the next what? Next neuron. There is a post-synaptic membrane and release their neurotransmitters in the cardiac cavity. The released neurotransmitters bind to their specific receptors present on the post-synaptic membrane. So receptors कहाँ पे है? Receptors are present on the post-synaptic membrane. This binding opens ion channels, allowing the entry of ions which can generate a new potential in the post-synaptic neuron. The new potential developed may be either excitatory or inhibitory. Inhibitory example, just now we have given, what is that? GABA. Any other example? Glycine is also an example of neuroinhibitory. Excitatory are serotonin, acetylcholine and dopamine. Come down to central nervous system. Fine. Central nervous system, it basically talks about what? Brain and spinal cord. So what they have said? The brain is the central information processing organ of our body and acts as a command and control system. So brain command and control system help करता है. Fine. It controls the voluntary movement, balance of the body, functioning of vital involuntary organs. That is lungs, heart, kidney. These are all what? Voluntary, involuntary. Thermoregulation is also done by brain. Hunger and thirst. Circadian rhythm, that is what? 24-hour rhythm of the body. Activities of several endocrine glands and human behavior. All the things is done by human brain. So human brain normally functions as what? Voluntary as well as involuntary. Fine. So here we have talked mainly about the involuntary functions like heart, lungs. इसका function क्या होगा? Involuntary functions होंगे. It is also the site for processing of vision, hearing, speech, memory, intelligence, emotions and thoughts. Every other idea I have given you in the part 4 brain. Click on the I button and just watch 4 brain video. Okay. Every other information about cerebrum I have given in details of it. The human brain is well protected by the skull. Inside the skull, so what is the other type of skull? Cranium. Inside the skull, the brain is covered by cranial meninges. Meninges consist of an outer layer called dura mater, then arachnoid, and then pia mater. The brain can be divided into 3 major parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So we have done already the meninges. There are 3 layers of meninges called DAP. How do you remember DAP? From outside to inwards. ये क्या है? ये skull है. That's a cranium. So after skull, there are 3 parts: DAP, and these 3 together, dura mater, arachnoid, pia mater. 3 together makes what? Meninges. That make what? Meninges. Okay, let's find out the structure. Given in your NCERT is the brain part. So if this is the brain part and this is okay. This is the nose, this is the brain stem coming out from here, brain stem, and it's connected with what? With the spinal cord. So brain and spinal cord together makes the what? The central nervous system. This is cerebrum. So this is the corpus callosum. This is corpus callosum. This is corpus callosum. This is corpus callosum, and this is what? This is cerebellum. Corpus callosum. So corpus callosum connects what? The left hemisphere with the right hemisphere. তাই তো এই কি করে কর্পাস ক্যালোসামটা কি করে রাইট হেমিস্ফিয়ারের সাথে লেফট হেমিস্ফিয়ারকে জয়েন করে সো ইফ ইউ সি লাইক দিস if we see this view তাহলে এটা হচ্ছে cerebral hemisphere, this is the right hemisphere, left hemisphere, and this is the corpus callosum. This structure is this one. Okay, now it contains what? It contains forebrain, consists of cerebrum and the thalamus and hypothalamus. This together is called diencephalon. Keep all it, okay? Diencephalon. Okay. So forebrain consists of cerebrum and diencephalon. which consists of thalamus and hypothalamus. Now this is the hindbrain, which contains what? Hindbrain consists of pons, cerebellum and medulla. And then it is the spinal cord, and midbrain contains this structure, which is what? Which is corpora quadrigemina and cerebral peduncle. Cerebral peduncle. Now, can you see this structure called cerebral aqueduct? And in our earlier videos, we have talked about what? We have talked about what is this? Talked about the brain having two lateral ventricles joined with the third one by foramen of Monro. The third ventricle joins with the fourth ventricle by aqueduct of Sylvius or foramen of Iter. Foramen of Iter. It's very important. Just check it out. Click on the I button and just watch all the video on the brain. Forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain we have talked about. Okay, Mama? Next is what? What is the structure? There is a tree-like structure. Comment me in the comment section. In the cerebellum, there is a tree-like structure. What is the structure called? Comment me in the comment section. Come down to the next one, which is called forebrain. Forebrain. देखो यहाँ पे क्या है? The forebrain consists of cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Okay, these two together makes diencephalon. So we know the forebrain consists of cerebrum and diencephalon as a whole. Cerebrum forms a major part of the human brain. So largest part of the brain is what? Cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. देखो यहाँ पे वही लिखा है. A deep cleft divides the cerebrum and longitudinally into two halves, which are termed as left and right cerebral hemisphere. Hemisphere, half sphere. So right hemisphere, left hemisphere, there is a what? Lateral curve, lateral cleft. The hemispheres are connected by a tract of nerve fiber. What is tract? In the earlier videos we have talked about, collection of nerves in the central nervous system. In the central nervous system, the collection of nerves together makes tract or corpus callosum. This is very important for your NEET examination. Tract term को याद रखना पड़ेगा. The layer of cells which covers the cell hemisphere is called cerebral cortex. And thrown into prominent folds, the cerebral cortex is referred to as grey matter due to its greyish appearance. Grey cannot देखा जाए. Why is they called grey matter? Because if this is gyri and this is sulci, this is gyri, this is sulci. See, what is present over here? This is neuron. This is the cyton part. This is the axon part, and this is synapse. Okay, the axon part gives a characteristic white color, and the cyton part gives a characteristic grey color. So this is called grey matter and white matter inside. Contains motor. That the neurons or cell bodies are considered here giving the color. The cerebral cortex contains motor areas, sensory areas, and large regions that are neither clearly sensory nor motor in function. These regions called as association areas. What is association areas? Which connects motor with the sensory. Are responsible for complex functions like intersensory sensory associations, memory and communication. Fibers of tracts are covered with the myelin sheath. Fibers of tracts are covered with myelin sheath, which constitute the inner part of the cerebral hemisphere. They give an opaque white appearance to the layer, which is called white matter. So white matter white matter को कौन देता है? What is that structure of the neuron which provides white color? It is the axon part. Okay, the cerebrum wraps around a structure called thalamus, which is the major coordinating center of the sensory and the motor signaling. Another very important part of the brain called hypothalamus lies at the base of the thalamus. The hypothalamus contains a number of centers which control body temperature. We have talked about that. What are those? Four main functions: body temperature, osmotic balance, hunger center, and thirst center. There are four functions. There are four functions of hypothalamus. Let's find out what NCERT has given us. Information: hypothalamus at the base of thalamus. The hypothalamus contains a number of centers which control body temperature. Urge for eating, hunger center. Drinking center, there is thirst center. It also contains several groups of neuromuscular cells which secrete hormones called hypothalamic hormones. What are hypothalamic hormones? You know, and in the next very topic, we are going to talk about chemical coordination. Okay, endocrine system पढ़ेंगे. वहाँ पे हम hormones के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, तो वहाँ पे hypothalamic hormones के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. The inner parts of the hemispheres and a group of associated deep structures called amygdala center. I have talked about that in my video. Amygdala সম্বন্ধে আমি আলোচনা করেছি আমার earlier videos এ, একবার দেখে নিস তোরা, I will click করে দেখে নে. Hippocampus is another term. There is an emotion center from a complex structure called limbic system. কি বলা হয় এটাকে? Limbic system. When you study the medical first year classes in the very first year, you are going to study about all this. Along with the hypothalamus, it is involved in the regulation of sexual behavior, expressions of emotional reactions, excitement, pleasure, rage, and motivation. This is about forebrain. This is about forebrain, which is also called as prosencephalon or prosencephalon. Come down to the next one called midbrain and hindbrain. That portion, by completing this portion, we are going to complete the whole NCERT thing. Midbrain is also called as mesencephalon. The midbrain is located between the thalamus, hypothalamus of the forebrain and pons of hindbrain. A canal called cerebral aqueduct passes through the midbrain. A dorsal portion of the midbrain consists mainly of 4 round swellings called corpora quadrigemina. What is the meaning of quadrigemina? As a 4 point है, corpora quadrigemina. Quadri मतलब 4, quadrigemina. Out of that, these two helps in audio and these two helps in visual. So audio visual effects is done by corpora quadrigemina, and the point is being given cerebral aqueduct, because midbrain, in between the midbrain, the cerebral aqueduct is it connects third ventricle with the fourth ventricle by the help of aqueduct of Sylvius or foramen of Ida. Come on to hindbrain. Hindbrain comprises of pons, cerebellum, and medulla, also called the medulla oblongata. One thing very important: pons consist of fiber tracts that interconnect different regions of the brain. Cerebellum has very convoluted surface in order to provide the additional space for many neurons. Because cerebellum is the second or little brain, we call it little brain. The medulla of the brain is connected with the spinal cord. The medulla contains centers which control respiration, cardiovascular reflexes, and gastric reflexes. Important line by line याद रहे, NEET के लिए ये टॉपिक बहुत important है. Fine, medulla also contains it acts as the gastric center secretions, cardiovascular reflexes, and respiration. 3 major regions make up the brainstem. कौन brainstem बनाता है? What are the regions which makes brainstem? First is midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. M square P. Brainstem is equal to M square P. Brainstem is equal to M square P. What is M? The first one is medulla oblongata, the second one is midbrain, and the third one is what? P for pons. M square P, pons. This makes what? Brainstem. Brainstem forms the connections between the brain and the spinal cord. See, NCERT line by line is very, very important, because NCERT के line by line से ही आपके पास options रहेंगे. The options are going to come from NCERT line by line. But to understand NCERT well, you need to have a little bit more information, which I have already given in my earlier videos. Just click on the I button and just see all the videos, make your notes, have all the confidence in you, and sit for the NEET examinations. All the very best for your upcoming exams also. Keep watching all the videos. See you next.